Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to create conditional orders in both the Thinkorswim platform and also the Interactive Broker platform. Since I'm going to be sending out the Thinkorswim orders in their own format, most of the time you should be able to just simply go into the order entry area and click on this button to paste it in. But occasionally you may get an error message where it says there's no order. I just tried to copy and paste a conditional order in here. Sometimes that happens, so you really need to just in case know how to do it in Thinkorswim as well. But most of the time you shouldn't have a problem there. But let's go ahead and take a look. So basically what you would do is you would go, I'm in the simulated trading right now, the paper trader right now because I don't want to actually enter an order. So you can go into your trade tab if you're actually going to enter a real live trade. If you're not, you can go and analyze and click on the add simulated trades. But if you're going to do a real trade, you would go into the trade tab. It works the same way. You would find, in this case, you know, we're working with the Russell 2000, so I would type in RUT. I'd find the expiration cycle that I'm working with. In this case, it's going to be the March expiration. So it's the monthly expiration. And you can tell it's the monthly. It doesn't say weeklies or quarterlies. The monthlies expire in the AM, so it'll have a little AM feature here. And I'm just going to expand that, March 21st. So let's say I wanted to have a conditional order to put on a put debit spread. Let's just make something up. So these aren't real, necessarily strikes that I would choose right now. Let's just make something up. So, but let's say I wanted to put on a put debit spread 20 point wide, starting with the 2090 put strike in the March 19th expiration. So I'd right mouse click on that anywhere on that line for the puts, and I would say I'm buying a vertical. And it would pop up here my order entry tools. And let's say I want to do 20 point wide, so I'd have to change my strikes just to make sure they're correct. I also want to make sure, right now in this particular settings, my settings are set to a minimum of 10 contracts. You might want to set your settings up here to a minimum of 1 contract when you place an order, just to be safe. So I'm going to just make sure that that says 1 contract in this case, or however many contracts you want to get. Everything looks correct, my strikes, my expiration. For the conditional orders, I generally put in good till cancel. And then I'm not going to mess with this price over here because it's going to be conditional based on if the RUT hits a certain level. So where I would do that is actually way to the right here. There's a little gear next to this order. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to show me a conditional order screen. And I'm going to ignore this for right now up here. The good till cancel time enforced is there because I clicked it on the other screen, but if I didn't, I could come back in here and click it. And I'm going to go all the way down here where it says submit when at least one of the following conditions is met. I'm going to click here. It's automatically should default to the RUT because that's what I'm, placing my order in. But you would, if it didn't, you would type in the RUT. My method is going to be mark, which it should default to, which is like the mid price basically. I'm going to trigger this on if the price of the RUT is less than or equal to. So you want to make sure your trigger is set correctly. In this case, I'm just going to say 2100. Again, this is not, what I would necessarily pick right now, but I'm just going to say 2100 here. So you would just say, okay, if the RUT is less than or equal to, in this case, 2100, I'm going to buy this vertical, the 2090-27 put vertical, in the March, the monthly expiration of March, which is what I picked. I'm just going to do 1. And I'm going to come down here. You notice that this area changed once I put this condition in. And I'm going to click on the limit linked to, so the limit price is going to be linked to the, I'm going to scroll down here, mark. So once this gets triggered, it's going to look at where's the mid price right now for that spread. And that's what I'm going to link the limit price to. So because it's going to be a limit order based on that mid price at that time. but I want to offset it. So this is one of the nice features of Thinkorswim that you're not going to really have anywhere else. I can actually offset this so that I know it's going to get filled if I give enough money to the market makers. Let's say 15 cents. So I want to make sure, you're going to do anywhere between 10 and 20 cents. I'm going to say 15 cents. So that way, when it places this order, if it gets triggered, if 2100 gets hit, or if it's less than or equal to 2100 in the rut, and this order gets hit, it's going to put in a limit order for whatever the current mid price of that particular spread is, plus 15 cents. So you're willing to pay up to 15 cents more just to make sure it gets filled. You probably will get a better price unless the market's really moving fast, but just to make sure it gets filled. And since this is an adjustment, I don't mind paying a little bit more. So that's how you do that in Thinkorswim. And then you just say save. And there's your conditional order. And then if I want to confirm this is a simulated, my paper trading account, so I would just say confirm and send. It will then show you the order confirmation dialog, and it shows you everything there, so you can double check. It's saying I'm going to buy one vertical in the March monthly expiration that expires on March 19th. The vertical strikes are going to be the 2090, 2070 puts at whatever the mid price is at that time, plus 15 cents. For my limit, it's going to be a good till cancel order to open this. In this case, it's an opening trade. And the conditions are the rut has to be at or below 2100. And it kind of shows you the rest of the information you're used to seeing. So then I can say, okay, that looks right, and my quantity's right and all that stuff. I click send. Now what that'll do is when you go over to the monitor tab and you look at your working orders, you'll see it's working and it says wait condition. And so it's not really a working order, it's waiting for that condition, that Russell 2000 has to be 2100 or lower. And then if that happens, this status will change to working order, right? And it'll go in and it should get filled. If it doesn't, you might have to change the prices, but by putting in that mark plus 15 cents, you shouldn't have a problem, okay? Now there's one other thing that you might have to be concerned with, and this is something that I will let you know, obviously, with an alert message. Let's say the market's going to open up gap down and maybe go below the 2100 or hit the 20, around there. And I kind of want to wait for the market to settle before something like that gets triggered, because a lot of times we get a fade. I might send out an alert saying, hey, before the market opens, we're going to gap down. You might want to cancel or pause your conditional orders for, a downside adjustment. And kind of wait for the market to settle, and then I will let you know if there's new strikes to choose, or if you just go ahead and put that order back in. So if that happens, then what you would want to do is go to your conditional orders that you might have set up, and you can right mouse click on the working order for that particular one, and you would just say, I don't think you can pause it here in Thinkorswim. I think you just have to say cancel. So you just say cancel, but then it saves it in the canceled orders dialog, right? Oops. So here it is. Actually, I did it earlier just to test. So let's say I say, go ahead and place that order. Again, you can right mouse click on it and just say create duplicate order. Or you can change the strikes, perhaps. Maybe I say, let's go ahead and put that order in again, but this time let's go 10 points lower or 10 points higher, or whatever needs to be done. So then you can say, again, create duplicate order. You can change the strikes if needed. You can leave everything else alone because your conditions are probably the same, unless I say, the condition of the rut needs to be a different threshold. Maybe it's 2110 or 2090 or something like that. But, for the most part, the only two changes I might make would be to the trigger, which would be the level of the rut, and the strikes. Most of the time, that wouldn't change, but if it does, I will let you know, and then you can make that change. That's how you would do that. And then you would go ahead and confirm and send it again, and then again it would show up in your monitor tab under working orders as a wait condition. Okay, so that's how that's done in Thinkorswim. So again, most of these conditional orders, you should be able to open up your order entry area in Thinkorswim and just click on the paste order from clipboard, and it should work. But if you do get that error message, which happens occasionally, that's how you do it by hand in Thinkorswim. So now let's go ahead and take a look at how you would do that, or something similar to that, in Interactive Brokers. So I'm just going to go through those two trade platforms because those are the two that most people use. Some of the other ones that people talk about, Tastyworks doesn't have a conditional order that you can do. Tradier I'm not familiar with, so I'm just going to go through these two since this is what's most used. If you have a different platform and you want to understand how to do this, again, Tastyworks does not currently have conditional orders, so you would just have to, maybe put in an alert instead, and when you get close to that particular level in the rut, put in an alert to alert you that then you can go in and put that order in. And if you have Tradier or some other platform, you're going to want to contact those people to ask, hey, how do I put this conditional order in? So with interactive brokers, I'm used to using the classic view. You might be used to Mosaic, or I think there's another way you can enter orders as well. But let's just look at the classic view. So you would do something like come over here, and I'm going to type the rut. It's a combination. It's a vertical. So I'm going to say option combos. And then it's going to bring this up. I'm just going to do pair by leg, leg by leg. And then I'm going to come over here to underlying. It's a little more convoluted, but you might, if you're used to interactive brokers, you know how to enter spreads. So this is just the way I enter them. You can enter them a different way. We'll still get to the conditional order screen, whether you do it one way or the other. Okay. Sorry, my older dog is heavy breathing in the background from my older dog here. At least he's not barking like earlier in the day. Okay, so you would click that, and then you'd wait for this to kind of come into view, and you would click on, in this case, we want the March monthly. They always do it on Thursday instead of on Friday. The date, I believe, is a little different, but that's the monthly contract. Then you would kind of scroll and look for the same strikes. So in this case, what do we say? 2090, 2070. So here's the puts are on the right side, the calls are on the left, so you're going to go to the put side. And the 2090, you want to buy that one, right? So you're going to go to the ask and you're going to click on that. And then you're going to go and click on the bid because you're going to sell the 2070. And then it just kind of populates up in here. But again, you might have a different way of entering spread orders in interactive brokers. Just use whatever way you feel most comfortable with. I'm going to click add. It's showing me, oh yeah, I'm buying a bear spread here, and it's just confirming that this is correct. I'm going to add that, and there it goes. So now that I've got that in this particular way of entering a trade, if you're a Mosaic, you would do it in the a different window, in the order entry window or whatever, but here you would do it here. I can actually click on it's actually showing me each individual leg here, but just the whole spread itself, I'd click on that, and then I would just click on the order ticket. So however you enter an order, you want to get to the order ticket page. And once you get into the order ticket page, this is where you can set conditional and limits and things like that. And before you do that, you go to the basic tab first. Make sure your quantity is correct. Make sure your strikes and everything looks correct. And you're going to change this order type from limit to snap mid. Okay, so you want to change that to snap mid. Now, it does have an offset amount, but it doesn't work the same way as Thinkorswim. If I put 15 cents in here, it's actually going in the opposite direction of what giving it to the market maker. So it's like, I want to get a better than the mid price. I want to get 15 cents better for me, not for the market maker. So you probably wouldn't get filled. And you can't do a negative amount. If you try to put a negative amount here, you're going to get an error message. So what I do is always defaults to 1 cent. I always just set it to 0 and hope that it'll get filled anyway. And if it doesn't, I can go in and change my pricing. So I do that there. I change my time in force over here to good till cancel. And then I go over to my conditional tab, and that's where I'm going to enter my condition. So I'm going to click over here to add a condition. What type of condition? It's going to be a condition based on price. Click next. What's the underlying? The Russell 2000. When I hit enter, it's going to say what do you want? And the Russell 2000. I want the index level of the Russell 2000. So I'm going to click on index. And then the method will be default. What do I want? I think it defaults automatically greater than. I want less than or equal to, so you want to make sure that that's correct. And then what price level am I looking for? And I think we said 2100. So let's say I want the Russell to be less than or equal to 2100. I click Finish. It fills that in here, and you can see the default price of the RUT is less than or equal to 2100. Now I can click Preview, and I can see that I would buy a 2090 put in this expiration cycle. I would sell a 2070 put in this expiration cycle. It would snap to the mid price. There's no offset because it's not going in the direction we want it to. The time in force is good till cancel, and my condition is when the Russell is less than or equal to 2100. And then you can just click, transmit or whatever. I'm getting an error message because I don't have any funds in this particular account, but you wouldn't see that. So, so that's how that would work there. Now, the neat thing about Interactive Brokers platform, and I'm not able to really show you this because I'm not actually transmitting this order, but once you transmit that, there'll be like a little clock symbol here showing that it's like kind of waiting for a condition, kind of similar to the Thinkorswim. What you could also do is, if in the case where maybe I, again, send out an alert message, hey, you might want to pause or cancel your conditional orders until the market settles down in the morning before maybe re-entering them or re-entering them at a different level. In Thinkorswim, where you have to cancel it and then resubmit, pick from the canceled list or recreate it there. In Interactive Brokers, they actually do have a pause button. So you can actually click, I think you right mouse click on the order, and you should see some, obviously this is not really an order, but in the options there should be a way to pause the order, and I believe the wording is pause. And then you'll see like a little pause button over here, and then when you want to resubmit it, you can click on, I think you can click on that and say resubmit or something, so it doesn't actually go away. You don't have to delete it from your screen. And I believe in the Mosaic, it would show up here, and you can click on the order up here under the Activity tab, and you can actually pause it from there as well. So there's different ways of looking at things in Interactive Brokers. So that's how you do that. I hope this helps to kind of get you prepared for what you're going to be seeing in the trade alerts that are coming through later this week. Alrighty, thanks for watching.